Hi, welcome to Haven. This is a podcast that's a safe space for curiosity and conversation. I'm your host, Haven, and today I'm curious about what's it like to be a teenager right now. What's it like to be a teenager right now? So most of you listening have been teenagers before, and you understand how it's all over the place. It's some of your best memories. It's some of your hardest memories, all the ups and downs. There's visceral memories. There's a lot that kind of gets packaged into that like sweet couple years of 13 to 18. So I'm actually more interested in what is it like to be a teenager right now, because it's a wildly different experience than any other teenager has faced in generations past, with social media, with the conversations that are being addressed, with the substances that are being introduced. Like, there is just a wild, wild west being presented to teenagers right now. And I just want to hear, what is it like for them? And so I am 32, but I have brought in the coolest 14-year-old around to help me navigate this conversation, where I'm just going to be asking all the questions and sharing, well, this is what it was like for me. What's it like for you? So please welcome my guest, Pearl.
Hi.
I'm so glad you're here, Pearl.
Thank you for having me.
It's cool because I had your mom on, and she was an amazing episode, and she was talking even about like parenting. And so you've been alluded to on this podcast before, but never in the flesh.
Right.
So I'm glad that you're here sitting on the couch. I've known you since you were, was it 11?
I think I was 10 actually, because that's crazy. That's so crazy.
It's crazy because you were such a cool and mature 10-year-old that to even have like just seen you adjacent from the last couple of years has been really special, because a lot of changes
for sure
have happened between 10 and 14.
Yeah. I mean, you met me when I was like 10 and I was still like playing with Barbies and playing with Legos, and now I'm 14, I'm in 8th grade, and I'm doing my high school applications right now, which is like crazy. It's so different.
It's so different. Yeah. Just the jump between childhood to teenager.
Right.
So I took Pearl to lunch like a couple weeks ago. We were like, what should we talk about? And there was just so much.
Yeah, there was a lot.
And then we realized we should make this a two-parter to actually give it the space that it really needs to go into each topic. So part one, let's kick it off with social media.
Oh, yeah.
Social media. I feel like that's just...
It's a big one.
It's a big one. We could take the whole hour on it.
Yeah.
But I want to tell you what it was like for me, and then we'll talk a little bit about what does it look like in your era. So for me, again, 32. MySpace was the thing when it was like 13, 14, all the way up to like 15 or 16. And I remember we were all coders because we were like customizing the back pages. We just thought we were really cool if we could do that. The song that you chose was also a way to kind of allude to different things. It was either your mood or it was a song that the person you liked was interested in. It was a lot of undertones in that. There was the code PC for PC, which was picture comment for picture comment. But the biggest thing was top 8, where you had to choose and rank 8 people of your top 8 and literally say, this is my number 1 person, this is my number 2, my number 3, all the way down, which that's kind of intense, where it's really stressful to choose your top 8. And then it's really hurtful if you're not in your friend's top 8, but they were in yours. So it was a little bit of like politics there. But all this was done on a computer. We didn't have it in access on our phones. So we were on our computers doing that, and then we were off living our lives. I remember I did get a phone at 14, and all it did was call, and you really weren't necessarily calling your friends. And then it could text, but it was texting with like the 9 digits where
you had to click it multiple times.
Yes, click it multiple times. Yeah. So it was like K is like JK, J1, 2. And it took forever, but we got really fast at it. But that was just the limit of it. So social media was something that you did not frequently because you weren't always home with your computer. And then phones were just to calls. So tell me, hearing all that, like, how much of it translates and how much of it is like, that's just such a different time than what you experienced?
I mean, now, like, we have access on our phone. We have access 24/7. So I could, pull out my phone right now. I could, like, post on my Snap story, then just, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, like, it's very different from what you were explaining. And as far as, like, the top 8 goes, the only thing that I can, like, think about that kind of is similar to that or relates to that is on Snapchat you have like a best friends list, and the difference is like you don't have to you don't choose them. It's who you talk to like the most. And I mean, it's not public, which I think is sometimes like a good thing for some people, but it's kind of like you can really see like who you talk to the most and like who your friends are. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy how different that is for like you.
And even with Snapchat, I remember reading something where it was like the stress that comes with that is your snap streaks, where I know like some girls went to camp and they gave their mom their phone and was like, please keep up my snap streaks.
I did that. I didn't do it with my mom, but I asked my friend and I was like, can you, like, I'm going to be gone at camp for 3 weeks. Can you keep my streaks up?
So what is like the importance of that?
It's sort of like I don't even know if it really has like an importance, but it's kind of more of like how often do you talk to these people? How much do they really mean to you? And it's kind of like if you break a snap streak, especially if it's high, it's like, what the heck? Like, you're on your phone so much. Why didn't you snap me? Like, or if it's like you got your phone taken away, like, because you can restore the streaks, but it like is cost like 99 cents or something.
Got it.
So it's like kind of annoying, but yeah, it's kind of like you got to keep the streaks up so then your friends like stay talking to you.
Wow. So it is kind of a pressure for daily engagement there.
Oh yeah. I do this is bad, but like the second I wake up, I like do my streaks. Like I look at my phone and I just like, because you can take one snap and then just send it to like everyone you have streaks with, which is what I do.
What would be the fear if you didn't keep up a snap streak? Like what would it feel like inside? Like, is it I disappointed and let down my friend?
I don't really know. I've only lost like a few, but my friends I haven't lost it with. And if I do, like we like yell at each other, but like as a joke. Like it's nothing really like, oh, you broke our snap streak because like we're like beefing or we're fighting. It's kind of more like, oh, you weren't on your, like you didn't have time to snap me, but you had time to snap other people. Like,
Got it.
But the thing is, like, if you lose one snap streak, like if you don't send your streaks for a day, and say the other person doesn't either, like say like because when you send your snap streaks, you send it to like a bunch of people, if that's your like method of doing it, and then if you lose one, you're most likely to lose a lot of them.
Well, with the snapshot of like, oh, if you didn't have time to like do it to me, but you did snap other people, I think that is similar to like the politicking of like the MySpace top 8, where it's not, oh my gosh, it's one-sided kind of relationship.
Like, what if you didn't have 8 friends? Like
over MySpace?
Like what if you had, like, I don't know. Like
some people did workarounds and they would put the band that they loved in their top 8. Or like, because they like bands would have MySpace pages too. So like you could technically do it. Or I think eventually you could code to like a top 4 or whatever.
Oh.
But it's kind of similar to like the Snapchat thing. It was like, it was a way to brand like, these are my people and like, this is my community. So most people didn't do that. It was very much so of like, this is my circle. This is my crew. And then it was like hurtful if someone removed you. Like if you were beefing, like kind of what you were talking about on there is like, that was also kind of a way that it came across of like your allegiance is broken.
I mean, that's sort of like a, like the Snapchat thing. Like say someone's your number one best friend and you're also their number one best friend, it'll show up on your thing and it'll be like BFFs. And then if you're for 2 weeks in a row, it'll be like, oh no, first it's besties, then it's BFF. Then if it's for more than 2 months, then it's like super besties or something like that. But my best friend and I were like super besties. So like if I go down one on hers, it'll be like, oh, like you're not number one best friends anymore. And I'll get mad at her. Like I'll be like, oh my gosh, you snapped someone else. So she spams me. Like she'll like, I mean, I have a screen recording of her just like spamming me. Like it's over 1,000 snaps that she sent because you can do multi-snap, and she just like snapped me like so many times to the point where I was her number one best friend again. But
Wow.
That was a scare.
So, but between that and like those little labels,
Mhm.
and then between the way that they've monetized it of like 99 cents to get it back, it
Yeah.
also feels like they're capitalizing on some of like everyone, what all feels like of teenagers and friendship insecurities or whatever. It feels like they're not trying, but the labels on there are actually adding more pressure than they're helping.
Yeah.
That is so, so interesting of how that's still different social media platforms, kind of the same things on there. But I remember also you showed me your phone of, you could see people's location on there.
Oh, Snap Maps. Yeah.
Snap Maps. So if someone's unfamiliar with Snapchat, what other features come on there that come into play that you either opt in or opt out of?
Oh, Snap Maps. So like there's different features on Snap Maps. You can go what's called ghost mode, which means like, because like there's a ghost on the Snapchat logo. I guess that's like why.
Got it.
But people like can't see your location, and you can see other people's though. But if you there's an option where you can. There's also sharing live location. So you can share live location, and then you can have it for certain friends. I only have my location on for like people who are like my best friends, like who I like hang out with like every day. And then I have like my live location on for like 2 or 3 people. But yeah. So,
Wow.
and then there's also, there's like the chats, obviously, which that's kind of controversial because also with Snapchat, you can see if anyone screen records, screenshots, save to camera roll, and it's and then you can also like save in chat, but also you have the option of deleting the chats to immediately. So right after like you exit the chat, then the chats that you just had are gone, which is kind of difficult because there's like the whole like, this person said this about you, but I can't prove it to you because they would see that I screenshotted. So that's kind of hard.
That's wild because even just hearing you talk about it, I'm feeling anxious because it just feels like that's a lot of access to give people, you know, your location or where you're at, or even if things disappear. And it's just a lot of just access to yourself constantly. So where do you have time to retreat? Where do you have time to just have clarity? It feels like it's constantly tethered to a device, which would be overwhelming.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's kind of also the people you hang out with.
Okay.
I'm pretty lucky. I have a really great group of friends. It was kind of hard more at like the beginning. It's also a mix between girls and boys, which I think is important. So it's just not just like a bunch of girls in this like getting on each other's nerves and stuff. So I have like a great group of friends, and we'll be hanging out together, and like all of a sudden, like one of us will just like, we'll all be on our phones, and one of us will be like, get off your phones, and then we'll all put our phones down, and then we'll like talk or like socialize or engage in like conversation. And like sometimes we'll be like, okay, we can't look at our phones for 10 minutes, which like seems kind of like, oh, that's dumb. You can obviously like put your phone down for 10 minutes, but it's hard because we're on our phones a lot of the time. And I would say like 50% of our time or more, which is not good, but it's like the truth.
I'd rather hear the truth. Like, what is it really like?
Yeah. And I mean, with like screen time, like my mom put my screen time on, and she put it for like 2 hours, and that did not work. Like now it's just giving me little reminders, and I'll be like, you've been on your phone for 5 hours, 6 hours. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And she used to be like, get mad at me about it. And she used to be like, Pearl, like your screen time is like flying through the roof. But then again, like I am talking to my friends, I'm socializing, and it is like, and also like sometimes like for music shows up on screen time too, which is
interesting.
kind of annoying, but
okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I do think it's a different way of communicating that just is more obviously 21st century, of that time engaged is longer because it is the way to socialize.
And we have so many ways to socialize. We have, I mean, there's iMessage, there's Snapchat, there's Instagram DMs, there's TikTok chats, there's like, I think you can message on Pinterest too. There's there's email, there's so many ways that you can talk. Like my best friend and I, we used to have screen time on messages, so we made a shared note, and we would go in our notes app, and we would talk back and forth on that.
Oh,
because we can't talk on text messages. What do we do? Like, what will we do? We just went on our notes app.
Okay, so I think that's another clever thing that like any teenager of any generation is going to do, which is find a workaround.
Oh, 100%. They'll find a way.
They'll find a way.
You can also log into your Snapchat on your friends' phones.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so my workaround, my mom on our computer, because again, wasn't on the phone, she set a timer for like every night at like 8 p.m. our Wi-Fi shut off. And so we couldn't access our computers past that. I didn't like break the rules a ton, but I did enough where I realized if you go and change the time zone on your computer, hey, it's 8 p.m. whatever in Texas, but California, that's 6 p.m. So I would like set it there and I had longer time.
That's funny.
But then you keep an ear out if like the parents coming up and you're quickly trying to change the time zone. So I definitely got busted. But what are other workarounds that teenagers are doing to buck the system? Like, so if they have screen time on their phones and they're bumped against the limit, so you'd pull up a shared note and go back and forth. Like, what are other ways where it's like, these are the just obvious workarounds that everyone's doing to try and get past it?
I mean, a lot of people figure out their screen time password.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I haven't figured mine out yet. I mean, but I don't even have screen time on my phone anymore. But like when I did have it, I would get so frustrated. I would try everything. And I was like, what is this password? It was probably something like really easy because I would try like hard things. I'd be like, when was my mom's like first, like when did she first get her car? When was the first time? Like I would like think of like dates. I'd be like, what? Like, but it was probably something like 1, 2, 3, 4 to be honest, because I wasn't thinking like of that. But I know my friend, he has screen time on his phone and like his parents make him do stuff before he's able to use his screen time. And he'll be like, oh, like I finished it. And he only gets like 30 minutes on his phone. But he knows his screen time password. He's just like, I don't want to use it because what if my parents can see? And he's like, and we're all like, they probably can't see when you use a screen time password. And then he's like, okay, I'll try it. And so then he started doing that. And now it's like his workaround. And it's really funny because he'll like call us and be like, guys, be quiet. Like my mom can probably hear us. Like he's like whispering. He's like, hi guys.
He's like, I'm going to break the rules, but quietly.
Yeah.
I don't want anyone to know.
Yeah.
So, I mean, leave it to teenagers. I feel like any type of workaround, like they're going to try everything because also all the time in the world to figure it out.
But also the thing is, I think that it like is important is like strict parents make sneaky kids.
Tell us more about this,
so,
bro.
I think that like if you tell your kid like, oh, like you can't do this, this, and this, they'll find a way if they really want to, but they'll hide it from you more. So I think like giving your kid like let them be a kid. You like let them be dumb sometimes because they're not gonna like be able to like do that.
So what's an example, by the way, of like strict parenting? I
don't really know. My mom is great about it. She's pretty like lenient as far as like stuff goes. Like, I mean, I don't really have to. I'm not really like I'm not sneaky with her because
not you. Maybe even that kid you shared of like the 30 minutes. So if their parent, not devil's advocate, but parents advocate, if they're like, I don't want them on their phone the whole time. Like 30 minutes feels generous or whatever.
Okay. So they have to think like, I feel like some people who have that rule of like, okay, only 30 minutes of screen time when you're my age, like he's 13 or 14. Like when you're my age, like that's not enough time. And you have to think of like parents have to think of like the fact that it's like, if you if you want your kids to keep up their friendships and like communicate and talk to them, like give them some time to do that and don't be on them like, okay, you have like 5 more minutes, 4 more minutes. Okay, time to hang up now. Oh, can I have like 3 more minutes to like finish up a conversation? No, turn the phone off. Then they're gonna like, then when they go back in their room, they're gonna be like, okay, like now let me like sneak in my phone and call my friend so I can finish that conversation. And then they have to like be like, oh, like is my mom coming? Like every like 5 minutes, which is like probably like difficult, but that's what he does. Cause
like the undertone of what you're saying, I think, is to hear your kid's desire behind their question.
Yeah.
Of not just like a harsh black and white, like I said 30 minutes, but to hear, oh, they're wanting more time with their friends and even just connecting to their want first instead of just going to these arbitrary
Because also I feel like parents are so quick to make like, oh, you have 30 minutes to do this and like are very like adamant about it. Like try to like put yourself in your kid's shoes. Like if you're like, oh, I don't want only 30 minutes to talk to my friends. Like I maybe want an hour. Or like I'm like for like my mom, the reason I got Snapchat in the first place was because I was going, my mom was very like adamant, like no Snapchat until you're like, I think she's like 15 or 16.
Mm-hmm.
But all my friends had it, and I was like jealous of them. And I was like, I want to like be able to talk to my friends more. My mom was like, no, like you can text them. But no one really uses text anymore, or at least my friends don't. But I was like, we were going on spring break and we were going to Hawaii, and I was like, can I get Snap just so I can like talk to my friends when we're gone? And my mom was finally like, yeah, okay, sure. And then I was like, I remember like being so happy about it. I was like, thank you. I was really grateful because like she like understood me for needing it.
I love that. And well, I mean, you already know I love your mom.
Yeah, we love my mom.
We love your mom. But I heard this once where it was saying anything that your kid's asking, it's like, well, all of my other friends are doing. They said like, never be the first parent to allow access. Try and be the second to last, where it's not the last one because then they've been left out this whole time. But then enough people have kind of gone through it. You can understand it first, where if you just give it carte blanche, especially early on, it could be more dangerous. But not being the last one to give them access to things that are connecting them with their peers and their friends, and letting them be on whatever the wave is so they can be involved in that. Where if it was like a no, never, you would have felt disconnected.
Also, because like conversations at school sometimes like revolve around social media. Like if say like a group of friends were on a call and one person didn't have Snapchat and they were on a Snap call, and all that night like they were doing homework or something, and the next day like that group of friends came back and everyone but that one person knew an inside joke, or like, remember what happened last night on the call, like when your mom walked in or something, it was like something funny, like they're just like left out. And I think it's important to always like think about that, like think about like what could happen if you don't say yes. You know what I mean?
Well, it's even the left out. Like I feel like that as an adult sometimes, of like I sometimes will just move the location of where my social media apps are. So then if I'm mindlessly going to them, it causes me to like a second glance or a second thought of like, oh, I'm just going out of here out of, you know, just routine. Like, do I really need to go here? But I don't really like deleting them because I like to see what my friends are up to. And if it's completely gone, I feel like I'm missing out on parts of their lives.
Yeah.
And it does feel the same, even as an adult. Like it may not be as frequent as it is for teenagers, but I think even adults, we have that same understanding of like, no, I want to be in on what's happening with like my circle and what's going on.
Yeah.
I don't want to be too far off. I think speaking of like the social media platforms, I wonder what it looks like to translate to your generation, because my generation, the way that we flexed were Facebook albums. We would, the night after an event, plug our digital cameras to our computer, upload. These albums could be like 80 pictures, and it's like 10 of the same ones, just slight variations. Like we did not find the most interesting ones. We were like quantity over quality. And we would just load them up and be like, homecoming, 2007. And it was just way too many photos. But it's like, that's what we did. And it was like, and immediately you throw up an album. Do you have any ways that you guys flex?
I don't know if like flex would be the right like word. I mean, if like,
is that an old person word? Am I old now for using that?
No, it's just, I don't know. People my age at least don't really use it very much.
Okay, so it's an old person word,
no,
but continue.
I mean, okay.
What would you use?
I mean, I would say like they kind of like, it's like, oh, I was there. Like, because so there's like the way that parties work now is that there's a Snapchat or an Instagram account and it's like December 16th party. And then you follow, you have to request. And then if you get accepted, you have to like comment down below if you're coming to the party. And then once you do that, then you either are in or you have to like pay $5 or something. And then normally the parties get shut down. But like if like you post on like your Snap story, or, like your Instagram story, like, and it's like just like a picture of like a bunch of people at the party and then like the location or like the time or something, then like, oh, everyone like that's so cool. Like that's so cool. Like they were at that party. But, like, that's kind of, like, the only thing I can really think of.
I was like, you were either there or you weren't, and you missed the moment.
Pretty much, yeah.
Interesting. There's so many similarities, but just the expression of it feels totally different, of even, like, the values of it. What is it like for TikTok? I think you talked about, like, some people have, like, a public TikTok and then a private TikTok.
So people have, like either... like what they call like the main, like their main account, which is like, what they post for like a bunch of people to see. And then they have like a spam or a private where they like just like post a bunch of like weird videos of them, or like just like kind of like like more than they do on their main page, just like their personal friends. That's what I love. Both of mine are private, but one of them has like significant, like one of them has like I think like almost 400 versus like 26. Because like it's only like my like close friends that I let on my private account.
That's so why two separate ones?
Because I mean, like I don't know. I like tend to be more like myself and like embarrass myself on my private account and like be like, oh, like be like silly and stuff, versus where like on my main, like I either have like one post or no posts. But yeah.
So when we were at lunch, we saw a girl from afar who were like, oh, she's TikTok famous. And what does that mean to be TikTok famous? And how does that like affect the rest of the people at the school? Is like someone there is TikTok famous. Like how does it change?
People at schools don't really care.
Okay.
Like it's just kind of like like she has like a high following. Some people think it's like, oh, like that's so embarrassing. Like she has so many followers on TikTok. But like the girl who we saw, she's successful, and she like most people know. I actually went to dance with her when I was little. I don't think she remembers me, but I was in dance class with her. And but she has like 1 million followers.
So the people at school, it's just not impressive to them?
No. It's either like, oh, I know her, or like, oh, I'm mutual friends with her, or like, oh, I don't like her. But like it's just no one really cares.
Is there anything left on social media, or should we transition to style?
I think we could transition to style.
Now a quick pause to hear from my sponsors. This episode is brought to you by Efficienade. Efficienade offers fractional virtual assistants whose sole purpose is to help people who are making a difference. Are you bogged down in your email and still managing your own calendar? Delegating those tasks to a high-caliber career assistant can free you up to utilize your time towards the areas of your best and highest use, allowing you to focus on the areas you truly thrive in. Learn more at efficienade.com. That's efficient, AIDE.com. Okay. Back to the episode.
So when I was 14, when we saw something like cool style-wise, we didn't have YouTube tutorials to help us figure it out. We just had to look at it and think, can I recreate this at home to the best of my ability? So I remember having Garnier Fructis mousse. That was the thing. It had a certain smell. And it was like the wavy look. So I thought, I saw a girl who had beautiful hair who did that. And I thought, I'm going to do this at home. I didn't think to practice it. I thought, I have a big banquet. This is my night to shine. I'm going to do it. And I was like, I just know I can. So I got just globs of this mousse. I tried to scrunch it as best as I could. And it was like crunchy ramen noodle. It was so messed up. And then I didn't have time to fix it. And I had to it was just such a terrible thing where I had no clue what I was doing, trying to recreate a look. I didn't do an advance. So just for this important event, I just had terrible hair. And I just felt so defeated because it was just trying to copy like a look. It was basically like, here's a painting, try and go recreate it. Where now it's like step by step by step, product, video, usage.
Yeah.
Like the style was so different. But like, how is that where now I see like 12-year-olds with incredible makeup because they have access to that. And I don't know if it's a good or bad thing. I don't know if I want to like label it, but like, what's your take on that?
I think it's pretty cool. I think it's helpful because I much rather know how to do something and like practice it and know like the exact steps and versus than like just being like, oh, well, I think I can do this. And then like, just like having like a similar situation to you where it's just like, oh no, like what do I do? Like I have to go like now.
Yeah.
But I started wearing makeup. I was one of the first of my friends to start wearing makeup, but I wore like thick black like winged eyeliner, but like it was bad. Like I didn't know how to do it. And I was like, no, I got this. Like I can do and that was like the second thing I started doing. The first thing I started doing was my eyebrows. I had no idea how to do them. I found my mom's eyebrow stick one day. I was like, oh, I bet I can do this. And I started like drawing like boxes. I was like 9 or 10. And I was like, don't I look great? And like my best friend, she was like, you look so scary. And my mom was like, Pearl, what are you doing? Like, go take that off. And I would get so mad. I was like, no, like, I don't want to. She's like, okay. And so she just let me go out in that. And I thank her for it because I'm glad I got that done with like earlier on. But I was also like emo at one point. I just like put a bunch of black eyeliner on my eyes. I was like, I look great right now. But I looked back at pictures and I'm like, oh my gosh, like what was I doing?
How old were you when you started?
Being emo?
No.
I mean,
yeah, maybe that too.
Yeah. Like, or like makeup. Where my mom like wouldn't fight me on it. Probably like the end of 6th. So like I was probably like 12. Like 11 or 12. I started wearing like clear mascara at like 10.
Clear mascara. My mom started me with a clear lip gloss. She was like, this is the makeup. And I think it's even fascinating you started with eyebrows because like my generation was just coming off of like the thin eyebrows. Like, so we were over thin, but we weren't like really giving them any like thought.
I have no idea why. I think I just like was like, let me do what, although the thing that I loved is when I was younger, my mom and we lived like in a house that we had like, it was like one room. It was like we each had like a room, and then we had like one bathroom that we shared. And it was a small bathroom. But when she was getting ready for work, I would sit there and I would watch her do her makeup. And then when she would leave, like my nanny would be doing something, and I'd go in the bathroom and I'd like play with it. And the first thing I started doing was lipstick because my mom, she wears like really cool like lip glosses and lipstick, and she always has like cool colors. And I would do the same. So I started wearing like lip gloss and lipstick and chapstick. That was like my first. And I was actually pretty good at like doing like lip gloss and lipstick, but I don't know why I started with eyebrows. It was not a good decision, but I'm glad I'm out of that.
You gotta start somewhere.
Yeah.
I remember what was huge for us was like bronzer. It was like the moment. Yeah. It's like the bronzer, you just load it up. It was just like, that was the most important thing, maybe then mascara. But like, we look back at pictures and we're like, oh my gosh, like that's not even like human looking. Like it looks so obvious that we put all this bronzer on. But like, just like
it was a style.
It was the style too. It was like just the 2000, I don't know, like early 2000s, mid 2010s, and like just the blue and like really color expressive, but heavy handed. I'll put it that way. It was not like super natural looking on that. And then hair, straight hair was super important for a time. So we all wanted straighteners for Christmas. We all got like, there was the Chi that was like the most expensive one. You could get the knockoffs, but none of us really figured out how to not get that crease right here. We would straighten our hair and then everyone you could tell, or we all missed that one clump in the back. So it was just one wave there where it looked perfect up front and then the back was just terrible. What are some hair like experimental things that you've done?
I've done?
Or maybe it's just popular.
I think my generation, or at least my friends, they're all very like, I know my hair type. I know exactly what I want for my hair. And they like, their hair looks great. Like their hair is always like one of my friends, her hair, like she'll like come out and she'll be like, oh, my hair, like I hate my hair. Like, and I'm like stop. Like you're like, her hair is like gorgeous every time. Like, it's like, she looks like she's like got a blowout or something. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, but as for like, for me personally, like my hair, it's not curly and it's not wavy. It's just kind of like poofy. And when I was younger, like I would just like, I like did not really take good care of my hair, but now I sort of do, but I dye it a lot, which is not the best for my hair, but I think it's fun.
So playing with color.
Yeah.
That's cool that more people are just owning their own hair texture.
Yeah, and they know exactly what they want for their hair, like how to take care of it. I think hair is one thing that we have, like we got that.
That's a great progression because mine, it was very much you want what you can't have. So if you don't have straight hair, you're straightening. If you have straight hair, you're trying to get curls.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like some people do that, but for the most part, I think like for me personally, like my friends, like they know what they got. Like they know what to do.
That's cool. Okay, style wise, like are there trends that people are following? Are there certain individuals people are taking their cues from? Like how do you choose what you're going to wear?
Where you live or where you like are, like there's kind of like a popular like style, and there's kind of, but I think for the most part, like my friends and I have very like different styles, like, and I kind of like that. Like I think it's like we all wear different things, and we all kind of like, because like some people will be like, oh, like you're wearing that, you're like, yeah, I am, like deal with it. Like I like my style, because some people are like, oh my gosh, like I love my style. Some people are like, I hate my style. But it's kind of like everyone sort of like will find something that they like, and those go off of that.
So how would you describe your style, and then how would you maybe describe your best friend's style?
That's hard. My style, I like big pants, like big jeans, and then like I like bigger clothes, like, and sometimes I'll like wear like big jeans and like a smaller shirt, like either if it's like a tank top or like a crop top or just like a tighter shirt. Whereas my best friend and also like I like jewelry a lot, so I'll like put like cool earrings in or something. And then whereas my best friend, like, she's like, it's very like, it's like simple yet it looks great on her. Like it'll be like low-rise jeans and like a white tank top, and it's so simple, but she looks so great in it. And I also think I think everyone's style is so like unique, but like if they pull it off, like they pull it off well.
So it's just more freedom to play, like,
yeah,
because again, teenagers in mine, it was like a polo, sometimes double polo. It was low-rise jeans. We were big into camis. I mean, I just had so many camis, and they had like lace on the bottom. And then our pants were so long that like the back of it, you would walk on it. Yes, exactly.
The entire bottom of my pants ripped off because of this.
Okay, then that relates, because like you would just walk holes into the back of it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you would do a t-shirt with a collared long sleeve shirt under it. If you were a musician or into music, that's how you just showed that you had artistic taste, which was like so silly, like whatever that meant. But like the style for like that was very uniform of like, we all wear this. This is like what shows us is cool. Like there wasn't different expressions there. It was just, how can I just be a tweak off of that? Which I think is so funny, because we look back and we just like look the same. Or like Hilary Duff was so cool. But if you watch her show, like her style was very eclectic and crazy. It was like, hers was in the hair where it's like the twisty butterfly clips.
Oh yeah.
Is that a thing for you?
It was when I was like 10.
Okay,
no.
no.
It was like 2020. Like I had butterfly clips.
Yeah, we did that at like 15. I think also though, our 15 is likely your guys' 10 as far as like maturity levels at that time of like what we were wearing. Like I see younger and younger kind of expressing that way.
I mean, now, like, I mean, I've seen like fourth graders wearing what I wore in like 6th and 7th grade.
Wow. So even more and more and more.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. So do you see anything? Because millennials now at our age, we're getting hate for like side parts.
Oh yeah. No.
Okay. I have a widow's peak. I can't do a middle part.
No, because the thing is, like, if it's small, it's fine. But like if it's like if it's half of your head and like over it, like no, like people just don't.
Yeah, going back to MySpace days, it was like a deep side park, and then everyone did a side swoop. That's what you called the side bangs. You're like, should I get side bangs? And they were always like covered in eye. They were like just right here, like the deepest part over. It was Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen, where like all of our hair inspo pics, like that was the thing. But going back to today, we also get razzed for like a front tuck. Like, is that also lame now? Because you say like expressions out there. No way. We get made fun of for our clothes.
Well, I think like there's like I don't know if it's, I don't even think it's stereotypical. I think it is like everyone's like there's like this stereotypical like millennial like outfit.
Which is what?
I think like older millennials, because I have like older cousins and older family members who are like millennials, and like they all sort of wear like skinny jeans, like boots, and then like a like blouse, and that's like halfway tucked in.
We call them nice going out blouses, but continue.
And no, but like that's just kind of like we kind of are like, that's like, you can tell when someone's a millennial really easily. Like wow. I like my friends like we'll go out and we played a game one time, and we're like, my friends and I were sitting down, and we were at this like, we were at Starbucks, I think, and like we were just like playing like, okay, like what generation is the person walking in? And we know we got them right. Like it was very obvious. You can tell when a millennial is a millennial.
And does it have a negative connotation, or is it neutral? Okay, that tells me negative.
It kind of depends, because it's more of like a personal preference. It's like, oh, like are we like frowning upon them? Like are they like? Because then there's like those like TikToks. I don't know if you've seen them, but it's just like it's like POV like millennials, and it'll be like millennials tend to share a lot on social media, or like be like, oh, look at this bird that was in my yard. Like, they'll post that on like Facebook. It's like, okay, that's pretty cool.
And like long captions.
Yes. Like, what do you want? We're not reading all that.
Long captions are lame.
Yeah. No one's reading your whole like life story in an Instagram post. I'm telling, no one's gonna read it. I can guarantee. Like, there's maybe your grandma will read it, but that's it. No one's gonna read. Oh, today I had the most wonderful experience at the subway with the like. Okay, we don't care. We really don't. Yeah. We really have no interest, and like, I feel like that's like a thing, like, to think about. Like, don't post paragraphs, please.
Is that like cringy to you?
It's not cringy. It's just like, you can summarize this into 3 words if you wanted to, really easily too. Like, it's over explaining. It's a waste of my time. I could have looked at the next post already, but I'm over here looking at the bear that was in your backyard that almost attacked you, like that you were like 20 feet away from. It's just like, okay, like, we get it.
Pearl, I appreciate the hard-hitting truth. It's going to hurt some people to hear, but you know.
It's the truth. I'm sorry. I can get more than 50 people to agree with me on this.
You know, I can understand.
Yeah.
No, it's really good to know. And if your feelings are hurt, then maybe write a long caption about it.
Yeah.
And then
no one's going to read it though. You can go ahead, but no one's reading it.
That is so funny. Okay. Style, going back to that. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like there are trends or anything, or no? Trends aren't things anymore.
It is, but there's only a few people who are like, oh, this is a trend, let me do it. And it's kind of like, you can't really name specific trends unless it's like really popular.
Got it. It sounds kind of like a free-for-all style-wise. It's just like whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Is welcome.
I'd say so.
Except if you want to do skinny jeans, boots, and a blouse, don't do that.
Please. I mean, if it's like some people can pull it off. Like, I have cousins who look great doing it, but like, people who like are trying hard with it, and like, it's just like, no.
Noted. What's your take? Like, who are the popular kids at your school? Are there popular kids?
Well, as far as my school goes, there's only 30 kids in my grade. I go to a really small school, and it's from kindergarten to 8th grade, and so it's a small school. And there's popular kids, but no one's like, everyone in the middle school, at least, everyone knows each other for the most part. And no one like really cares about popularity, but like, kind of like the 8th graders, at least, like the kids in my grade, we all like, no one's like, oh, she's so popular. Like, we all know each other. We all sit together at lunch. My grade hangs out on the playground at lunch. And like, I also think that's part of like we all last year and like the year before, like, we were all like, oh, let's go, like the guys were like, oh, let's go play basketball, and we're like, oh, let's go sit by the tree and talk. Now we all sit on the playground, and like, I mean, I did a handstand today. I haven't done a handstand in a really long time, and it was really fun. And I did it against a wall, and like we played like tag, and I mean, it's just like fun. Like, now I feel like we're having fun because we're also in 8th grade, so there's no one older than us at our school to like be like to like judge us, which I think is great because our grade is like the weirdest out of all 3 grades, and we're like the oldest, but like we're fun.
That's cool. Do you think voting people like homecoming king or queen is dumb?
Yeah, I think it's so stupid.
Yeah,
because like what's the point? Like, and also I think it's kind of different now. Like, I mean, we have a homecoming at my school, but there's not like homecoming court. It's just like the game, and there's a dance. But it's like, I think like a homecoming queen and like king, like, you're just like, you're trying too hard. Your like mom probably got it, so you're like, oh, I want to do it too. But like, I don't think anyone really cares.
What's your take on pick me girls?
I hate them. They're so annoying. Like,
how? Because
like, first of all, like, there's different types of pick me girls. There's the ones who like acknowledge like, oh, I'm being pick me right now, like, sorry.
Oh, define it, by the way, for our listeners if they don't know.
A pick me girl is kind of like a girl who does stuff for like attention, but not in like a way that you would think. Like, they'd be like, oh my gosh, my hands are so small. Like, you're like, it's kind of it's a way of like flirting, but it doesn't work.
So she's orienting her behavior for male attention.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's in a way where it's just like, stop. And she'll do it in front of like girls too. It's like, oh my gosh, like I'm actually I'm oh my gosh, I'm so bad at this. Like stop. It pisses me off. It's so annoying.
Like placating themselves or downplaying themselves to put themselves almost in like a victim save me kind of posture.
That 100%.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's just like you can also be like, oh, you're being pick me right now. Like you'd be like, oh my gosh, like I just like I can't do this anymore. Like, okay, you're being pick me, like you can do it. It's not that hard.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it's just like I think they're so annoying. Mm-hmm. I think it should be stopped.
And is it in person or is it online or both?
Both. If you post yourself crying, why? It's like there's the only reason you're doing it is for attention. You like think. I mean, if you can think of another way that you're posting yourself crying on social media besides getting attention, tell me. I'm really interested.
See, I think that's interesting because as far as when I see someone crying online, I get uncomfortable. I feel like it's a very public platform also, to be doing that.
I agree. It's also like a digital footprint. Like, I mean, my best friend, I remember when she first got Instagram, she posted herself crying and she's like, POV me at 10 o'clock crying for like whatever reason. And I screenshot it when we were 10. And I was looking through my camera roll the other day and I found it and I was like, oh my gosh, what were you doing? I was like, thank gosh you only had like 4 followers and you were just showing it. Like when I sent it to her and she's like, there's no way I did that. But it's just like also like thinking about like digital footprint, like people are gonna be like, why are you crying? Like what I just think
I think the motivation sometimes too is to be like, oh, online feels so curated. Here's like a raw and a real moment that maybe isn't displayed, and like online is a highlight reel. Here's real life. So like I think sometimes it's attention motivated. Sometimes it's like, well, here's the full picture of what's happening.
I think the only the like when it's like full picture, I think it's more influencers or people who have a high following, like who are just like this is me being real, because there's really only like the only way like yes, you can post yourself online crying. It's just not like it's just not smart.
Is there any time at all where you feel like a crying online would be appropriate?
I mean, it if you see something like I saw this one girl, it was like my reaction to like the new Little Mermaid, and she was like, oh my gosh, like I see like myself in her, like, and it was just like she was like being like sweet about it. And then I saw like another video like related to it, and it was this girl, and she had seen the video of the girl crying about the movie, and she started crying because the girl started crying.
Oh my gosh, a double crying, like a stitch of crying is my nightmare.
Yeah, like
I don't want to watch 2 people crying.
I don't want to listen to them yap about why they're crying either. Like it's just like, what's the point?
Help me understand Stitch too. So it's like where there's a video and
there's a video, and then there like you can like duet it or stitch it, and then you can add your own little like and also
your own reaction video to watching it.
But also only millennials really do.
Okay, good, because I was like, I don't get it. People will stitch my videos a lot, and it's just them going.
Yeah, I know. Like
I'm just pointing and nodding, and I'm like,
that's a millennial thing. Okay. No, you'll never see a Gen Z do that. Mm-mm. If you do, they're like on the older side, and they were born in like 1996, and they're like on the cusp. Because if you like, especially if it's like music and it's just them, and they're like, what are you doing?
Yeah, no one
needs to see your reaction to a video. That's it's so annoying. It makes me so angry. Like, what are you doing? Why are you doing it? What is the point? What's the goal here? Like, no.
Totally. No one young is stitching, and I just like get tagged in these, and I go to see like if they add something interesting, and it's just them silently nodding.
Exactly. You hear it's like if someone stitched my video, it'd be like me like talking, and then they just be like, okay.
And if you're audio listening, she's just nodding her head. Nothing added here.
What you could leave a comment if you really felt the need to be like, oh, I agree with this. Say that in the comment. Don't make another video.
Okay, the last thing that we wanted to touch on was communication. Mm-hmm. So I think the main thing is like other generations' communication to you. What have you found like translates between generations? What do you not like? I know when we went to lunch, you were like, it's kind of annoying when they say, when I was your age.
Well, I think the when I was your age thing, I think it's people can say it in two different ways. There's the one that is actually trying to relate to you and be like, well, when I was your age, like this and this and that happened, and they're not judging you. They're like just trying to share information with you, and they're like, and they're not like trying to like give it, like make it backhanded. They're kind of just like letting you know, and then they're like, well, tell me, like they're asking questions about it. And then there's the type of people who are like, well, when I was your age, like for example, one time someone said to me, they were like, I was on my phone and they were like, can you get off your phone? I was like, oh yeah, 1 second. Like, let me just like finish this text. And they're like, well, when I was your age, like I didn't have to text every 5 minutes. And I was just kind of like, okay, like, okay, what do you want me to do with that information? Like, you are 40 years older than me. We grew up in much different times. You barely had the same technology. You didn't have any technology that I had right now. And you don't know what it's like to have to like keep up with your friends and make sure like that you like keep up and talk with them, because like it's like hard and you want to make sure like you stay like super close. So I think it's like that really bothers me if someone's like, well, when I was your age, and they just like be annoying about it.
It sounds like the difference of when they say it out of curiosity's sake versus to be derogatory.
Yeah.
Which is like a very different inflection.
100%. I agree. Yeah.
There are some phrases that feel old to you. Like what comes up where you're just like, we don't talk that way.
I don't really like, for me personally, I don't really mind like what people say, because the thing actually that kind of bothers me, it doesn't bother me, I just think it's like whatever, is my mom. She heard me say stuff in like 7th grade, and she like was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna start saying that like now. Like she says chat, like she'll be like, what's up, chat? Do you know about that?
I don't even know.
So like it's like people just like type it, and they'll be like, what's up, like to a group chat, like, what's up, chat? But my mom will say it out loud. She'll be like, what's up, chat? To like my friends, and then we all just like kind of look at her and we're like, what?
Because it's dated, or because she is too old to be using it?
Both. It's just like
Got
no
it.
one says that anymore. And then she'll also be like, what's up, fam? Like my friends will say that as a joke, but my mom saying it to my friends is not funny. Well, sometimes it's funny, but like
my parents picked up that one too. They say it in our group text sometimes.
Oh yeah, my mom will be like, what's up, fam? Like to my friends. I'm like, okay, mom. Like, no. And like, but it's like, I think it's cute, but like she thinks that I hate it, but I mean, it's kind of cute.
It's kind of
but
like
at
funny.
the same time, you're overusing it, but it's whatever.
Is it annoying to you guys when we use your phrases like Riz? Is that not your phrase?
It is. It's just like, I feel like you see all these like things like on like TikTok, but if someone like says it out loud, they'll say it as a joke. Like they don't like, they're not like, if someone's like they'll be like, oh my gosh, like they have so much Riz. Like no one says that. It's kind of like, oh, like you just like Riz that girl up like as a joke.
Got it.
And I kind of feel like people who are older, or people who don't really get it, will take it so seriously. But most of the time it's like a joke.
Most of the time it's a joke. I can tell that new phrases have gone to die when corporations start using them. When it's like Wendy's tweeting out something, they're trying to be topical, and they'll say like, oh my gosh, these french fries are so on fleek, which I know that's not actually topical. It was just the first thing that came to mind. I feel like that's when I know that it's gone, but I can't ever tell what's topical because I'm not in the flow.
I just feel like it's kind of also, it's also helpful because like, I mean, I feel like also like schools, like different, like people, like different things, like this one kid in my grade, like he didn't make this up. He didn't like, he found it on TikTok, but no one at my school had, like no one in my grade at least had really heard it. And he started saying like, what's goody? And everyone said that for like 2 months, and it got really annoying. But like everyone was just like saying it to like each other, like as like a joke. And then now we say it and it's like, oh my gosh, like we used to say that too much. And it's like, oh my gosh, like remember that? But
I think that's so hilarious of like things can come and be like a flash in the pan and then they're gone, but people are still picking on top of it. Like I remember the movie 8th Grade where they were joking with that one kid who kept yelling like LeBron James, like, which was such a thing, but it was like quick and funny. And then like there was always that one kid where you're like, they're never going to let this die. This will always be funny to them.
That's like the class clown. Like that's the person who thinks they're funny, but they're not funny at all.
I'm concerned because I've used some of the things you're talking about. I, in my past, have worn skinny jeans and boots.
Well, but the thing is, like that's what it was when you were like,
yes,
yeah.
At the time, it was very cool.
Yeah, but it's just like evolution.
Yeah. I don't have skinny jeans on. If you can see, these are
those
wide leg.
Those are not skinny jeans.
We also each have interesting socks on. We noted
These are
that
my mom's
earlier.
socks.
Okay, well,
She always yells at me.
now less cool again because they're not even yours.
No, because the thing is, I steal my mom's socks every single day, and she yells at me for it. She has socks that have her initials embroidered in it, and I wore them today, and she looked at me, and she started yelling at me. She's like, Pearl, are you wearing my socks? I was like, yes, I'm wearing your socks. And she was like, oh, like, you have your own socks. And I was like, they're dirty. She's like, you don't own 2 pairs of socks. And I was like, okay, but like, yours are more comfortable. Yours are solid color. And she's like, you own socks. Stop stealing mine. I'm going to do it anyway. But it's just like, you can, like, they're just socks.
There was stuff of my mom's that I loved. And now as a parent, I would be so thrilled if my daughter thought I was cool enough to steal my stuff. I would be like, wow,
my mom
I
hates
still got it.
All my mom's friends like are like, oh my gosh, like my daughter like took, oh, it's like, that's my daughter took that from me. My mom gets so frustrated with me. Or she'll like turn it into, she'll be like, oh yeah, you're just like, I'm just too cool for you. I'm like, yep, you're right, Mom.
Your mom does have actually cool style, so maybe I could understand how she'd be frustrated. But that's a great segue, because in the next episode, we're talking about parenting likes and dislikes from your side of things. But I'm excited for the next episode. You're just going to have to stay tuned in where we go into it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be Pearl again. We're going to be wearing these same outfits, sitting on the same couch, but talking about new things. So for this wrap up, my new thing is email newsletter. You can go to havenpod.com to sign up for that today. Please Pearl, you have to help me craft if I'm saying this in a stupid way. Follow, subscribe on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, and rate and review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. That's how I'm going to get out there. Is there any critique of how I just said that?
No, that was perfect.
You're sure? Because
yeah.
I know people used to say smash that like button, and that's pretty dumb.
Don't say that.
Okay, I won't say that. Great.
Smash that like button.
Thank you, Pearl.
I've never said that before. Being serious, but I mean it. Do it.
But now you said it in an ironic way, but she also half meant it.
I did mean it.
But this is 14-year-old approved, so everything I just said is now cool.
Oh yeah.
Thank you guys for joining us, and we'll see you on the next episode.